Ms. Smith?
Here.
Ms. Gear?
Here.
Mr. Alabama? Here. No problem. Mr. Sims? Here. And Mrs. Andrews?
She's here. She's back there.
All present.
Okay, all right, the minutes were sent to us this morning on email. Can I get a motion to dispense with the reading of those minutes and approval of such?
So moved.
All right, motion from Ms. Ear. Second from Ms. Andrews. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, that is 5-0 to, oh, wait, no. Oh, yeah, no, sorry. Okay, old business 17-10-15, request for consideration of noise and odor problems in Buffalo Rock and Metro Harbors. That 15 just still hanging out on there. Carry it over. 150820, request for consideration of memorial donation policy. Myself and Ms. Andrus.
Rusty's working because we didn't ever get to that point, but
Okay.
we pulled up something that we were gonna do.
Yeah.
On that.
Okay.
So he's getting that together for us. So
Okay.
we'll just get it over
Yep.
one time. Should
Yep.
have it by the first of the year.
Yeah, it's not, this is not urgent. So we'll carry that one over so that Rusty can get that placement plan and the application ready for us to look at before we approve the full policy. Okay, new business 04-1221, request for consideration of amending the zoning ordinance to include the fence regulations. Counselor Almond?
Yes.
Yes.
So I think that, given the amount of time that we spent discussing fences and whereas we already have a body dedicated to looking at variances.
Yeah.
That it would be to the potentially best use of our time and energy to move this to,
And that would be to BZA.
yes.
Okay, Mike?
Yeah.
Okay, so we would refer the change to the planning commission.
Ask them to look at these on. You have to start.
Right, okay.
So it's gonna be the zoning ordinance. Yes.
So how do we get it to them?
We send a recommendation from this committee. to
Okay.
We just send out a recommendation to the planning commission asking them
To try to figure a way to fit
to add.
fence ordinance and put the fence ordinance
What they would do,
into,
recommend back to you, whatever amendment is.
and then we would vote on it. Full council. Okay,
I will say that I discussed this with our building engineering and zoning department,
Yeah.
Mr. Kale Smith, and he thought it made perfect sense. So,
That's-
all right,
And Walter left, but he's also in favor of
in
it.
favor of it.
He's
as well.
been pushing this for
Okay,
a while.
Love it.
all right,
Love it.
so you want to
So
make,
I'd like to make a motion to forward this to the planning commission to consider how to move fence regulations, change the zoning ordinance.
Okay.
And move that to potentially BZA or some other solution.
Okay.
Second.
all right, motion from Mr. Almond, second from Mr. Sims. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, 5-0. I feel like I know what the second is.
Yeah.
05-1221, request for consideration of amending the zoning ordinance to include the sign regulations. Now, this one, Mike, I can't, it's same thing. Okay, so, because I've always, like, the sign ordinance has always been outside of,
So it's fence.
Right,
yeah,
this-
okay, but it doesn't need to be. There's no legal reason that has to be the case.
Remember we paid somebody to draft the sign.
Yeah,
Do-
right.
Would we have to send multiple sign? I mean, like, I know we
All
have
the
sign
sign
ordinances for specific areas.
Well, they're already in the sign.
Okay. This is the only one that's not in the zoning ordinance is the,
Yeah,
And,
okay.
and this is the one
the one you talked to December a couple years ago.
for
Downtown.
downtown or not? It's
Citywide.
also
Citywide.
citywide without, that doesn't include downtown. Does downtown have its own?
Well, all include the entire city. Incorporate all of them.
Okay, because I thought, okay, so,
Because we've heard,
No, we went back and amended because originally it's in the downtown rezoning.
yeah,
We didn't adopt that. We went back and amended the zoning.
Right.
The sign ordinance to include downtown.
okay. But that, and then West Homewood has its own though, doesn't it?
It does. It's in the zoning.
It's already in the
It's already
zoning
in the
ordinance. Okay, all right, okay.
So I'd like to make a motion to also forward this to the planning commission so as to change the ordinance, zoning, or whatever we call it.
Yeah.
To include the sign regulations.
Okay, motion from Mr. Almond, second from Ms. Gear. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oh, what will we do if we do not have sign
I
variances?
know your meeting's got a lot shorter.
Um,
Think about big pictures.
06-12-21, public hearing 20th, 2021 at 6 p.m. for consideration of a design variance at 1811 29th Avenue South, Preston Boyd, Wellsburg, Fine Jewelry. Mr. Pugh. Mr. Boyd?
Hello.
Come on up. Do we
Have
have
a seat.
You absolutely may. Here is, this is not an official thing, but if you don't mind signing that, and just your name and your address or your business address. Yeah, just put the building. Yeah, your business address is fit. All right.
We get set?
Sure, I get that. Yeah. All right.
Wow, great. Thank you. Can I pass something out?
You absolutely.
I didn't know how many I needed, so you're gonna have to kind of share.
That's okay. Here, well, as long as he has one for the record, and then the committee members have one, and everybody else can pay it and share. I'll look on with Ms. Davis.
Okay, so, the top picture is my previous tenant, and you can get, it gives you an idea of what was once there. I have a really high pitched front. The facade is really big. And I understand it has something to do with this total square footage across. So if I drop my facade down by 8 feet, this sign would work. And what I'm asking for is the original request to this one here is what I was hoping to have because it's just so huge. But I couldn't get it, so I followed the city code, and this is what I have now. It is just, I have all this big space and windows across the bottom, and I got this little sign in the center. And I would like to see if I could get a little bit larger sign, my bigger logo, back to the way it kind of used to.
So basically, kind of be in the same space as what the Monty Stabler.
Yes, in fact, it's going to be
It's
a little,
about that same exact.
actually, it's going to be a little bit smaller.
Okay.
Bonnie Stabler was really big across it, because that was what, 20 years ago, or something like
It
that.
is, none of this is illuminated.
No,
It's
Not
just
at all.
all just signs
that's it.
on the wall.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
So Mr. Pugh, do we consider each one of those an individual sign, or is that considered one unit?
It's one unit, and the overall area of the sign does meet the ordinance.
Okay.
Where the problem comes is the 36-inch tall logo. No individual letter or logo in the downtown district can exceed 24-inch high.
Okay. So that's really what the variance is for, is that really that one particular thing?
That's correct.
Okay.
36 inch.
Okay.
Yeah, height variance.
So, yeah. Okay, so the height variance for the logo essentially, because the rest of the other parts that say fine jewelry, art and all that, that actually fits into the right size.
That's all compliant.
The letters are what you're talking about, right?
Yes,
It's just my logo's what's killing me.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's
It's
under-
ego, what can I say? I want that logo big.
Well, like you said, you got a lot of space up there to fill. Okay. And can you tell everybody where this building is?
It's 1825, well, it's right across the street from the, it's 3 doors to the right of Dave's Pizza.
Yeah.
That's my slogan, you know, everybody knows where Dave's, it's 3 doors to the right of Dave's Pizza, just before you get to what used to be the curve.
Yeah.
And that seems to be where everybody can zero in.
Great. Anybody have any questions?
Hey, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, so I'm looking at the picture. The thing that says city code is what you currently have,
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
And then I'm looking up there. Are you, so the original request, is it proportionally the distance, like, is just the height going to be changed, or will also the width be changed?
It'll basically look like that right there.
On the building, it will look
Yes.
like that proportionally?
Yeah, I think the whole thing will change, but the only thing that's causing him the problem is the circle
the
in the
height.
middle.
Oh,
It's just that part. It's just the logo circle that's too tall. Everything else fits into the right size. It's literally just that part in the middle is too tall.
well, but the part beside it is,
No,
2 feet is the current limit,
right, but
correct?
see the top of the circle goes up higher
I
than
do,
the,
but it's not a foot higher than the art. Is
that's what he said. He said that's the only thing, because you see the space in between
Well,
the
wait
top
a
and
minute.
the
I think maybe what we're measuring are the letters. That white sign that the art is on is bigger. I mean, I'm just trying to, okay, so it's the letters of the WB.
Yeah, because see how he has the 2 lines
Yeah.
to the top and the bottom, and the
Yeah, I
36,
do.
that's
I
what
do.
he's saying is the 36 is the,
But I guess when I look at this proportionally, what it currently looks like and what it will look like. It'll take up, it looks like it's gonna take up an expanded.
It'll give you an
much
idea, this is what was originally
I
up there,
I see
which is
that.
bigger than is here,
Yes, I mean, I'm not,
you know,
yeah,
so.
I'm just trying to understand. What are the current dimensions of that one? Do you
It's
know?
2 feet high.
2 feet high, and do you know how wide it is?
Two- I want to say probably 14,
14 feet wide? Long.
6, 12 to 14. I'm going to say 12.
And so do you know what the one that you're trying to go to, how wide is it?
I would say it's probably going to be about 14. Whatever it was that met our original criteria, that's what it's going to be.
I didn't bring my calculations with me, but I did do a calculation of the area. Formula that's provided in the ordinance, and this one is compliant. It is within the area limitation. I didn't bring those numbers with me.
So the area works, just the height doesn't.
That's just the height.
So it meets the criteria, but what I'm asking is because overall, but because of the tall facade, it looks out of proportion, doesn't, it's not pretty. It's kind of unattractive when you see it. It's not a nice looking sign. It's not very large on that front facade.
Oh, I wonder if our calculation needs to change.
It's funny you should mention that. I understand
No, I mean, I'm
that
just
question was
asking
addressed
the
to me. I
committee. I
realize
wasn't
that.
really, yeah, because.
Well, and I think
if it does
because,
look that way,
well, yeah, but it's not every building doesn't have that large of a facade. So when you talk about some of the smaller buildings, something like that would look massive. Because not every building down in downtown has that giant pitched triangle area.
well, what I'm thinking of is Bandwagon, for instance, and if you've seen that sign.
Yeah.
That sign is, it's actually out of, it doesn't meet our current specs. We found out, it was an accident, and it is 36 inches high,
Okay.
but it looks massive because of the size of their building.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we need to go back and look at this. I guess it's sort of another
Well, I will
issue.
say, if the planning
Well, this is
commission.
why I don't want to talk about this.
Right, and that's why, and so if the planning commission, we just sent that back to the planning commission, that'll be part of their discussion.
Yeah.
They can make any changes they want to, or refer it to the BZA or however they want to deal with it, but technically it would just take it away from us. So we
Right.
wouldn't be sitting here having this discussion at all, which, go, Mr. Almont.
So
Go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, just for perspective too, that we will have a public hearing next Monday. So knowing that we won't, send it out for approval or with a recommendation tonight, just make a request that maybe next week, Mr. Pugh, or in advance, we can get those calculations just so we'll have them for reference, and that'll be additional information. That would be great.
If we could get the current size versus the size they're trying to go to width and height, I think that would be good.
Sure. All right. Well, since this is in public hearing, as Mr. Sims said, the proper motion is to send it out without recommendation pending that public hearing. So,
Second.
motion from Ms. Anders, second from Mr. Almont. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. 5-0. So next Monday, next door in the council chambers, we'll have the public hearing. Yeah, bring this back and any additional information that you want Brian to have, if there may not be. And then Mr. Pugh is going to- I know.
So who do I need to talk to, Brian?
Brian is the guy back there. on this one.
Okay.
He had all the pictures, so. Is there
So I need to
anything,
check with Brian to see if there's any additional information you need.
no, is there anything else that you want him to put? Yeah, so he'll put up all your pictures
Okay,
during the meeting or during the public hearing.
great. Next Tuesday?
Monday. Monday at 6.
Okay,
It's a two-step process.
all right. Well, thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. All right. All right, with that, unless anybody has any.
One
Oh, no,
thing,
yeah, sorry. Nick, go ahead.
Counselor,
Yeah, go
Smith,
ahead. Sorry.
I wanted to discuss our tabled items, 150221, which is a request for a report from Jetty Trip on the Citizens Portal. I spoke to you and also Mr. Wallace and wanted to take that off the table.
Okay, is that a motion?
Yes, ma'am. I'd like to make a motion to take 150221 off the table.
Okay.
Second.
All right, second from Ms. Andrus. All right, so it's off the table.
And I just wanted to add that we've talked to Mr. Wallace, and in a couple of meetings on January 24th, he will provide a presentation on some of the submissions and outcomes from the portal's usage in 2021.
Okay, and so we'll do that, on our meeting on the 24th and give Mr. Wallace time to pull all of that information together for a little update. So, all right.
Do we have to vote on that to move it?
No, yeah, they are, I think, did we not vote on bringing it off the table? Sorry.
Oh,
Yeah, that's true.
I just got Nick Sim.
Yes, Nick and Ms. Andrews seconded it. All right, all in favor to bring it off the table?
aye.
Aye, all right, so 5-0 off the table, and we will hear from Mr. Wallace on the 24th. All right, and now with that, we are adjourned.